commitment and your team. It's important that you are here on time, as we have said. If there is time at any reason where you can't work a shift, you have an emergency, you want to go to, communion, reunion, football, whatever it is, that's fine. I'm stoked that you are going. We'll ask you about it. I'm excited for you. But we do need to make sure that we're covered. All right?
Find ourselves to cover or
Yep. You are responsible. Definitely. I've found, it's you have ownership over it, and that also increases your communication amongst each other and increases teamwork.
Does that go for like requested days off too, or is that a little different? Okay.
Yeah, I mean we'll detail specifically. I generally, the way that I have scheduled up until this point is that I create a fixed set schedule that everybody can rely on. But again, that's up for negotiation. But generally, I haven't accepted request off. I'm not saying don't go, but it is saying go. Who will be here? Okay, just make sure that we're covered. It's not being mean or aggressive. We need to make sure that we're covered. All right. Be on time. As Ryan had said before, within 15 minutes to spare. Does everybody do theater before? Do you know the saying? Have you heard that saying?
Yeah, if you're on time.
Yeah. If you're early, you're on time.
Right.
If you're on time, you're late. And if you're late, you're dead. That's like from the theater, okay? It applies to restaurants, and we will be getting into this. All the world is a stage. But that has everything to do with it. You just have to be ready. Shift changes must, they will be granted, but you do need a manager's approval for it. The reason for that, we just need to make sure, like Harriet said, we're here to keep all the pieces together, and we just need to make sure that we're covered. Okay? I think also part of the expectation is conducting yourself in a manner that recognizes that you're being watched. Someone told me once, like, you were always being watched. And I was like, ugh, really? But then you think about it, you literally are, because you're part of the environment, you're part of the restaurant. And I know I've certainly been on a date where I've been like more interested in what's going on around me than the person across from me. And thankfully we do have an environment and a beautiful staff that can afford that person at that table that experience. The physical plan, a lot of this has to do with taking ownership and treating your team and the space with respect and being accountable for everything that takes place in here. I view it, if you haven't noticed, I did dabble in a little theater when I was in high school and college, but the idea of walking the boards, that there's a history there, that means something to me. That it was not the same, but I've walked these boards. It's part of that. You're putting the legacy in, you're putting the work in, the intention. And it really matters how you approach the space, okay? Maintain cleanliness. This is still a relatively new building, and our equipment is gonna be relatively new, if not new. We have to respect it, and we have to maintain it. We gotta get, the espresso machine, if you have to put Cafisa through it to clean the lines, you're gonna put Cafisa through it and clean the lines because it's gonna last longer. It's like having an old muscle car. I don't have one, but I could imagine that you're constantly working on it, you're putting that time into it, and then it's at the end of it, it's like, yes. And it still runs as if it were, the first day that it was released. That's kind of what we want. Was that too loose of an analogy? All right, cool. Be accountable. I'm big on respect. I have respect for you. Part of that is that I am accountable responsible for myself. So are you. And it's all kind of back and forth, okay? But you are an active player in this scene, and I will treat you, and so will we. We'll treat you that way, okay? This is our staff. This is our restaurant. This is the experience that we are offering, okay? Then we're talking about safety. As we said before, with the entrances, you can use either. When you're leaving at the end of the night, please don't put your uniform on. Make sure that you change into street clothes. That's like a big deal. And I don't, if you are coming and going from work, and if somebody wanted to pay attention to you, they could easily pay attention to you and see server, bartender, who work in a cash industry to a certain extent. You don't want to put yourselves as a target. I'm not trying to scare you, but just in general, be smart. Okay? Be smart with the choices that you make. Within these packets are more safety caveats, if you will. Let's see where we go. All right, so we have sanitation up top, safety down below. This really comes from, this is in the packet that I put out, not in this. It doesn't have anything on the front. Yes. Yeah, you guys are yes. All right, perfect. Are you guys good? It is the one that is here on the front. Oh, that's what you just said?
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you hop next to Jared?
Are you wheelchair?
All right, you need a buddy.
I don't have one.
Hop on this table.
So Ariana, I have a quick question. I think as I was reading through, it says to walk in uniform.
We're gonna delete that. Thank you for catching that. I want you to change. Yeah.
This might be a silly question, but can I just change my shirt? Can I walk in the jeans? That's
Yeah.
a normal street code.
Yes. Totally reasonable.
All right.
No. Yeah, that's totally reasonable. Basic. Yeah. What did you say? Okay. All right. Likewise. Have a good shift.
Thanks.
Love that headband. Yeah, so a lot of the stuff of like coming and going, this is all reasonable. Trust me, we want you to be safe. Okay? That as safe as possible. We'd wrap you in bubble wrap if I could. But I won't. Alright, so for safety, we are going to go into major causes of foodborne illness. A lot of the stuff that we are specifically responsible for is how we handle our food, glassware, and doing it in a way that is sanitary. I have little things like when we're talking about glassware, where don't you want to put your hands? Top of the glass?
Top of the glass.
Why?
Because it leaves fingerprints and it's unsanitary.
Yeah, plus, like, we just met, right? And I don't know what's going on. Like, why are you putting your finger where my mouth's gonna go? You know, that's just practical, okay? Like, a lot of this stuff is practical and what you would like. So I'm gonna leave this, reading this more specifically. This gets into meat temperatures and how we're storing and cooling things. This is definitely something that chefs are primarily responsible for, but we are being aware of it. We're on the line of defense, so we just need to make sure that you know what is right and what is not. All right. Thing that is most applicable on this, what we do every day, washing your hands. When we're touching glassware, we're handling glasses, whether we're taking it to the guest, removing it, clearing plates, silverware, napkins, all of that. We don't want to be responsible for any form of cross-contamination, so just be responsible and wash your hands under hot water, sing the happy birthday song, get under your nails, and do that a lot, okay? And be mindful. When I started working in restaurants, I suddenly realized how often I touched my face or my hair or, I mean, really anything. Banisters, anything. It really matters. So just be mindful that, you know, the buck stops here. You just have to own it, okay? So we have always washed your hands after you smoke, eat, use the restroom, touch money, raw foods, face, hair, or skin, cough, sneeze, or blow your nose. Cold season is coming up. Please take some echinacea and start kind of pumping up your system now. Before and after your break, really doing anything that is not food related. Or be mindful, if a guest sees you pick something up, because we're always on stage, someone is always watching us, you make sure you don't touch anything after that. Go ahead and wash those hands. It goes back to that perception.
I'm actually just kind of stepping out. Are we using trays at all with cocktails, food? There will be tray service?
Yes, for cocktails.
For cocktails, okay.
Yes.
And service for food.
Yes.
And even one cocktail, so everything will be on a tray. And then just sort of back to, as Brian mentioned, mission control, there's a perfectly situated hand sink right behind you and right to the soda station, right to the beverage station before you go out. There's also one right back there when you drop, turn right to your right, it's right there. I think we got paper towels and soap, maybe we'll add hand sanitizer in that as well, so you just give yourself a squirt.
Yourself a squirt.
Yourself a squirt.
I love that.
Okay. Dispose of waste properly. We'll work out the exact, I'm not sure the exact days when things are picked up and...
Trash every day, recycle, is that what we mean?
Yeah.
Trash every day, recycle 4 days a week, but we need to pick up more than
Okay.
that's just to start to feel it out. The trash we just want out of here.
Yeah.
So,
Understandable. Yeah.
well, sometimes you try and, Sunday, Monday, you say we get away with the day, Tuesday's not as, crazy, but let's just get it out of here.
So anytime that you see something also on the ground, or if you see something in the locker room, whatever it is, pick it up, throw it out, keep it moving, wash those hands. All right? For the logistics of linens, we'll walk through. There is a system for it. Just keep that in mind. There's going to be a place where you are folding, a place where you're dropping soiled linens off, aprons, all of that to be determined. Okay? Cool? All right. So, pests are real. Where do pests come from? Real question. Where do pests come from? Sam?
The walls.
The walls? That's where they choose to live. All right. What brings them in? Food. Definitely. Food, crumbs, sugar. All of that matters. There's a reason why we're going to be a little aggressive about cleaning things. We want to maintain our space. It's also not a good experience to either be dining or working in a place that has a major pest problem. Do your part, okay? So in the meantime, if you see anything, any door jambs that are broken, any holes anywhere, any piles of stuff, anything like that, be accountable, be proactive, and let us know anything that we need to, because we want to get ahead of any issue that may or may not come to fruition. All right? So we have ice. We'll be always using a scoop. Please don't put any glasses into an ice machine. That's just or pitchers, which we don't have. But please don't put glasses or anything that can break, anything other than an ice scoop